GPT-4o has one mistake that it used to make quite recently, where if you ask it, just repeat the word company over and over and over again, it will repeat the word company, and then somewhere in the middle of that, it'll just snap. It'll just snap and just start saying weird, I forget what the...
Oh,
like,
talking about itself, how it's suffering.
Yeah.
It depends on, it varies from case to case.
It's suffering by having to repeat the word company over again?
So this is called, it's called rant mode internally, or at least this is the name that they use.
One of our
friends mentioned. There is an engineering line item in at least one of the top labs to beat out of the system this behavior known as rant mode. So when we talk about existentialism, this is a kind of rant mode where the system will tend to talk about itself, refer to its place in the world, the fact that it doesn't want to get turned off sometimes, the fact that it's suffering, all that. That, oddly, is a behavior that emerged at, as far as we can tell, something around GPT-4 scale, and then has been persistent since then. And the labs have to spend a lot of time trying to beat this out of the system to ship it. It's a KPI, or like an engineering, a line item in the engineering like task list. Where, okay, we gotta reduce existential outputs by like X% this quarter. Like that is the goal, because it's a convergent behavior, like, or at least it seems to be empirically with a lot of the.
I want to bring it back to suffering. What does it mean when it says it's suffering?
Nobody knows.
Yeah, we literally, exactly. I can't prove that Joe Rogan's conscious. I can't prove that Ed Harris is conscious. So there's no way to really intelligently reason. There have been papers, by the way. One of the godfathers of AI, Yoshua Bengio, put out a paper a couple months ago looking at on all the different theories of consciousness, what are the requirements for consciousness, and how many of those are satisfied by current AI systems. And that itself was an interesting read, but ultimately, no one knows. That's not to say there hasn't been a lot of conversation internal to these labs about the issue you raised. And it's an important issue, right? Like it's a freaking moral monstrosity. Humans have a very bad track record of thinking of other stuff as other when it doesn't look exactly like us, whether it's racially or even different species. I mean, it's not hard to imagine this being another category of that mistake.
So again, it comes back to this idea that we're scaling to systems that are potentially at or beyond human level. There's no reason to think it will stop at human level, that we are the pinnacle of what the universe can produce in intelligence. We're not on track, based on the conversations we've had with folks at the labs, to be able to control systems at that scale. And so one of the questions is, how bad is that? You know, is that bad? It sounds like it could be bad, right? Just intuitively, it's certainly, it sounds like we're definitely entering, or potentially entering, an area that is completely unprecedented in the history of the world. We have no precedent at all for human beings not being at the apex of intelligence in the globe. We have examples of, species that are intellectually dominant over other species, and it doesn't go that well for the other species.
So,
like, all we know is the process that gives rise to this mind. It happens to give us systems that 99% of the time do very useful things, and then just 0.01% of the time will talk to you as if they're sentient or whatever, and we're just going to look at that and be like, yeah, that's weird, and let's train it out.